أعوذ بالله من الشيطان اللعين الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على خيرة الأنبياء والمرسلين حبيب إله العالمين أبي القاسم المصطفى محمد وعلى آل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين لا سيما بقية الله في الأراضين روحي وأرواح العالمين لتراب مقدمه الفداء. In the name of God, the compassionate, the merciful, all praises belong to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept your fastings and prayers. Tonight is a special night and we are going to celebrate the birth anniversary of Imam al-Hasan al-Mujtaba alayhi salam. I'm going to just mention two hadith from Imam al-Hasan alayhi salam, just to honor and to bless the majlis that we have. So it will, inshallah, receive barakah from the blessings of Imam al-Hasan al-Mujtaba alayhi salam. قال الإمام الحسن المجتبى عليه الصلاة والسلام من عبد الله عبد الله له كل شيء. This is a very beautiful hadith. Imam Hassan alayhi salam says, the one who worships Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the one who becomes humble towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will make the world in his service, at his service. Very deep in terms of content. Allama Tabatabai Radwanullah Ta'ala alayh has a discussion in one of his books called Al-Rasail Al-Tawhidiyya. He has a related discussion, a relevant discussion to what Imam Hassan al-Mujtaba said. And I'm going to simplify that argument, that discussion, and eliminate the points of Allama Tabatabai by giving you an example. Allama Tabatabai says, this world, this is my example based on his arguments. Allama Tabatabai says, this world is like a river, and all entities are in this river, and this river has a direction, and they all are going to join the sea. It is like as we are in this world and going towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, moving towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So he says this river has a direction, and if one goes in the direction, swims in the direction of the flow of water, everything will help him to go faster. But if he tries to go backward, swimward, then it will be very difficult for him, because it is very difficult to swim against the direction of the flow of water. So he says this world, the whole universe, is going towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, is headed towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. And those who are in conformity with the direction of the flow, they will find everything in this world help them to reach Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allama Tabatabai has a famous saying that he said, even one single sin is against the whole creation. Why? Because sin is based on falsehood, and the creation is based on truth. So falsehood is against the truth. It contradicts the truth. So when one, God forbid, commits a sin, this action is against the whole universe and the movement of universe towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It slows down this flow of water to join its origin. And when Imam Hassan al-Mushtaba alayhi salam says that the one who worships Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the one who submits himself to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, becomes humble before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the whole world will be humble and the whole world will submit to the will of this man. So everything in the world will be in his service. There is another hadith from Imam al-Hassan alayhi salam. Because we don't have time, I don't want to elaborate on this more. Inshallah, we will have a discussion on it in its own place because we need to discuss about the names and attributes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the Qur'an. So I'm going to mention another hadith very quickly from Imam Hassan al-Mushtaba. This is a very interesting story. At the time of the caliphate of Imam Ali alayhi salam, when he was a caliph, there was a butcher, and this butcher was living outside the town. And one day, this butcher was found with a knife, bloody knife, close and next to a corpse who was dead, who was killed. So the soldiers captured him and took him to Imam alayhi salam. And this man, as soon as he was captured, he confessed that I killed this man. So they took him to Imam Ali alayhi salam, and Imam Ali alayhi salam asked him, did you kill this man? He said, yes, I did it. So Imam alayhi salam gave the judgment, passed the judgment, and the soldiers took him to place of punishment. On the way, the one who was the real murderer appeared and told to this soldier that this man is innocent. I am the one who committed that assassination or murder. So they went back to Imam Ali alayhi salam. This man, the murderer, told Imam Ali alayhi salam, "O Amir al-Mu'minin, the one that you captured is an innocent man and I am the murderer. You should punish me, not him." So Imam Ali alayhi salam told the one who was captured that he asked him that, so why did you confess? Why did you actually accept this accusation? And why did you tell the soldiers that you killed this man? He told that because everything, all evidence were against me. I had a knife in my hand. The blood was dropping from it, and there was a corpse, and there was no one else except me and that corpse on the ground. So I had no way, and I was shocked. So I said, "Yes, please don't touch me. I am the killer. Just take me to Amir al-Mu'minin." So actually, I didn't have any hope. Imam alayhi salam told the soldiers that take this man to Imam Al-Hasan alayhi salam to pass judgment on them. They went to Hasan alayhi salam and they told their story. Imam Hasan alayhi salam told them that, tell Amir al-Mu'mineen Ali alayhi salam that if this man is the murderer of that man, the dead man, but in return, he revived another person. Actually, he saved the life of another person who was about to be executed for being on charge of being a murderer. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, whoever saves one, he is as if that he saved humanity, mankind entirely. So he killed one and he saved one. And he said, according to Islamic mercy, I'm going to release you because you killed one and you revived another person. So this action was equal to that action. The goodness of this will erase the badness of your previous action. So, and Imam Ali salam gave the blood money of the dead man from the treasure, the Baitul Mal, to his actual inheritance. And that in this way, God's mercy was with the murderer, and that was due to the wisdom of Imam Hassan al-Mushtaba and his mercy. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala send salutations to Imam Hassan al-Mushtaba in this night. So we are going to continue our discussion actually on the names and attributes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The names that are going to explain in this session are Al-Qādir and Al-Qādir. They both are translated as the omnipotent, the one who has limitless power. The difference between Al-Qādir and Al-Qādir is that Al-Qādir only refers to the agent who has power, but Al-Qādir refers to the person or the agent who has power, but Al-Qādir refers to the same meaning with an extra emphasis on the continuity of this power for the one who has it. So the one who is Al-Qādir, he always has this power, but Al-Qādir is silent about actually the period of having this attribute. And in the previous discussion, in the previous session, we told that the attribute of Al-Malik and the attribute of Al-Qādir or Al-Qādir, they are strongly connected and related to each other. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Qur'an, قُلِ اللَّهُمَّ مَالِكَ الْمُلْكِ تُؤْتِ الْمُلْكَ مَنْ تَشَاءُ وَتَنْزِعُ الْمُلْكَ مِمَّنْ تَشَاءُ وَتَعِزُّ مَنْ تَشَاءُ وَتُعِزُّ تَشَاءُ تُذِلُّ مَنْ تَشَاءُ بِيَدِكَ الْخَيْرُ إِنَّكَ عَلَى كُلِّ شَيْءٍ قَدِيرٌ. O Allah, Master of all sovereignty, you give sovereignty to whomever you wish and strip of sovereignty whomever you wish. You make mighty whomever you wish, and you degrade whomever you wish. All choice is in your hand. Indeed, you have power over all things. So today, we want to discuss a little about divine power. we should note that generally speaking, there are two kinds of attributes, divine attributes of God. The attributes of essence and the attributes of actions. In theological discussions, we call the former, I mean, the attributes of essence, and entitative attributes, entitative attributes, and the latter operative attributes. So the attributes of essence are those that our minds extract with God's essence in view. These attributes are predictable by considering God's essence with a need of focusing on the essence of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala without a need to focusing on the actions of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But when it comes to attributes of actions, focus on the attributes, on the actions of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. For instance, we say Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the sustainer, al-Raziq. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is forgiving, Ghafir, al-Ghaffar. So we are extracting these attributes from actions of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, from the action of giving, from the action of forgiving. So if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala didn't have any actions, we wouldn't be able to understand these attributes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The second point is that all attributes of essence are simple, are basit. They are the same as the essence of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It means that God Almighty does not have any parts. Why? Because if he had parts, he would be in need of those parts to exist. And we know that God Almighty is needless and he doesn't need anything or anyone for his existence. Otherwise, we wouldn't call him God. Concluding, omnipotent is one of the attributes of essence of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and it is the same as the essence of God, not a part of God's essence. And as we know, the essence of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is limitless. So divine power of God is also limitless. Allah is the omnipotent, meaning that he has limitless power. So this was the definition of the omnipotent. Now the question is that, can Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala do impossible things? The answer is that it depends on the type of impossibility. If we mean by possible the actions that are almost impossible for us to do, they are rationally still possible, then the answer would be yes, it is possible for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to do impossible things. And all miracles are the best examples of those so-called impossible things. But if we mean by impossible those actions which are rationally impossible to be done, then the answer would be no. For instance, we compliment someone who is very good in math by saying that he can solve any mathematical problems. The meaning of this compliment is that the person in question is capable of solving all valid and reasonable problems that have real solutions. But what if we pose an unreasonable and irrational question to him? Suppose we ask him for a whole number is greater than 3 and smaller than 4. Obviously, such a number doesn't exist. It cannot exist because the whole number between 3 and 4 doesn't exist. So we cannot come up with such a number. But this inability in giving such a whole number is a result of the absurdity of the question rather than his lack of knowledge. This is very important. Non-believers often counter theism by raising questions like, can God create another God? Or can God create a world that fits into an egg? In their mind, they think that they have placed theists into a difficult position with these kind of questions. Theists answer negatively, which is the correct answer. They would then seize the opportunity to attack the theistic belief that God is omnipotent. If God is omnipotent, he should be able to do everything. So why cannot he do mentioned previously, impossible things? Doesn't this incapability imply a limitation in divine power? So this is the question that we need to give an answer to it. So the answer is quite simple. When we say that God is all-powerful, we mean that he can produce and actualize everything that is possible within existence. Absurd scenarios and impossible circumstances are necessarily and inherently non-existent. It is impossible for them to come into existence because their very nature involves contradiction. In other words, the reason that God cannot carry out the aforementioned scenarios is not on account of the limitation of power, but is rather due to the inherent impossibility of those scenarios. So our answer to that is that those scenarios are impossible, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala cannot perform them, but this doesn't impose any limitation to God's power. The second question that comes to mind in this regard, about divine power, is whether God is capable of doing evil. Doing evil does not inherently involve a contradiction, as we saw in the example of impossible things. And so is, strictly speaking, possible. We must bear in mind that an agent's power and capability to do something do not require him to do it. This is true even in the context of human activity. We may have power to inflict pain on other people, especially those subordinate to us. But since we consider it to be morally wrong and evil, we decide against doing it. In other words, our reason, our fitra determine which actions we actually embark on. Similarly, God Almighty exercises his infinite power in view of his wisdom. God only, meaning that God only undertakes what is good, though he does have the power to do evil as well. His wisdom is the attribute that prevents him from doing evil. So our answer to this question is that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is capable of doing evil, but the reason that he doesn't perform it is rooted in having another attribute, which is called wisdom and divine knowledge. There is another question about divine power, but it needs at least 10 minutes to give an answer, an appropriate answer to this question. So I leave it to the next session, inshallah. And I would like to end this discussion with some du'as. Please pay attention to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and direct your hearts towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Oh Allah, please send the best of your salutations to Muhammad and all Muhammad. Please resurrect us with Muhammad and all Muhammad. Please enable to follow the path of Muhammad and all Muhammad with all our might and power. Please remove any barriers that we or others have put between us and our Imam Zaman. Please hasten the reappearance of Imam al-Hujjah. Please make us people who serve him before and after he comes. Oh Allah, please keep us and our children, generation by generation, always on the side of the truth and justice. Please give shifa to all people who are ill. Please give shifa to all people who have requested us to pray for them. Please send your rahmah and maghfirah to all mu'mineen and mu'minat from the beginning to the end, especially those who have rights upon us. وآخر دعوانا أن الحمد لله رب العالمين.